So yesterday you got F1, so make sure that you turn in that first blue worksheet today, sometime before you leave class today. Make sure that that gets done. Get off on a good start in this new calendar year on getting your homework turned in right away. Okay, don't let it linger until then it all piles up on you, and then it's no fun because then you're doing all this math or you're not getting good grades that you want to do. So, yeah. All right, today we're going to go into F2. But first off, let's remind you again, because in homeroom today, you should have gotten your final exam, that half sheet. Does everybody have their half sheet from homeroom? Take it out, okay? So take out your half sheet from homeroom, okay? And make sure that on day 2, so the middle column on that half sheet from homeroom, that's day 2, okay, that middle column, if you are in, we'll go in order. So if you are in my class on Mondays, mods 1 through 3, so that's right away, 8 o'clock in the morning, you're on period 5. So right in period 5, pre-algebra, room 216. If you're a Mrs. Hill, 4 through 6, so that would be from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock on Mondays, your period 2 on that day 2. If you're Mrs. Hill 7 through 9, that's from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. You are period 4. And if you're my afternoon section, 16 to 18, that's from 1 to 2, that is going to be period 6, all on that middle day. Okay, so all on that Thursday, either period 2, 4, 5, or 6. Now, if you have a conflict as you're going through and you're filling out that schedule is on the school's website. You should also talk to all of your teachers to figure out when and where their finals are for that class. Okay, so here's ours. Okay, so when and where, there they are. Okay, if you have a direct conflict with that class, make sure you talk to your teacher sometime this week to get it resolved, to figure out if you're going to take it in a resource center or if you're going to take it in a different time frame or something like that. Okay? All of our finals, so and no matter what, for everybody, your final is in this room. Okay? Unless you make other arrangements with us. And then we'll decipher, we'll spread you out from there if we need to. Okay? I don't know what this Tuesday afternoon study session is. That's old. Yeah, we don't want that. Your note packet today on F2, so that's the second page of your note packet. Okay. Remember that if we're graphing an inequality or if we're getting the inequality from the graph, the first thing we got to look at is we got to look at that dot, or we got to determine what kind of a dot we're going to use. Remember that an open dot, this is from yesterday, an open dot is less than, greater than, or not equal to. And a closed dot is less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay? That closed dot has the or equal to parts to it. Okay? And then we want to make a true statement, where it's all about truthiness. We want to make a true statement. So if we're seeing the graph and we want to get the inequality off of that, the first thing that we have to do is what? In my class, yesterday, what was the first thing we had to pick? We had 24 choices. What's the first thing we got to pick? A letter. What are the 2 letters we don't choose? Because there's only 26. There's 26 letters in the alphabet. What are the 2 letters I said don't choose? L, because it looks like a 1, and O, because it looks like a 0. Okay? So that's why we're down to 26 choices. Okay? So first choice. Lacho, we'll start with you. First choice, you get to choose the letter. B, okay? So we're going to go with B. Okay? And then we put the number after that. We leave a space for it. We put the number after that. So we got B, or whatever letter you chose, could be anything, a space, and then the number 4. Okay? Now we got to fill in the number 4 with one of these 4 right here. Okay? So because it's an open dot, that means we're in the blue line, and we want numbers smaller than 4, so we're going to go like that. And then we quick test it. We quick check to make sure. We pick a number, for instance, like 0, and we say, is 0 less than 4? Is that a true statement? That's a true statement, so we got it right. Okay? We pick a number that we think that is on the side. Remember, the arrow goes to the side. Okay? Or we also said yesterday, too, that this might look like look like that. If we want to go up above the line, because we're only using one color. Yeah. Now, let's jump down here to actually putting a graph on here. Let's jump down to number 3. Actually, that's the same as, oh, well, that's okay. But we'll do it. Okay? So in number 3, we first determined, because of the inequality right there, that's an open circle. So we put an open circle at 4. We don't fill it in, we just put an open circle. And then this is saying we want all numbers smaller than 4. And remember, smaller numbers are left on a horizontal number line. So that's what it looks like. Okay? You now do numbers 2 and 4 as a warm-up. 2 and 4. Nora, we're up to you. Pick me a letter for number 2. Q. So we've got Q and we've got -6. Because the number is -6. Do we have an opening, Charity, going left? Or so is my alligator going opening to the left or alligator going to the right?
Right. Right.
Which way is it opening? So because the Q wants to be bigger, do I have that extra bar underneath or not? Yep, because it's a filled-in dot. Yep, exactly. So we want all of our other numbers to be bigger than -6. So we got to go like that. Mm-hmm. Princeton, number 4. Open or closed dot at 4? Closed dot because it's got that extra bar underneath. So we put a closed dot at 4. Yeah, sir. Arrow going from our dot to the left or to the right? Left? We gave you both. Which one do you want to go?
Right.
To the right? Okay? Because we want this to be a true statement, right? So like, let's pick 10 over here, right? So 10 greater than or equal to 4. Is that true? Is 10 bigger than 4?
No. Yeah.
Is this a true statement right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we need our arrow going to the right. Okay? Sweet. Love it. All right. Let's do this. So, solving inequalities. So, we're going to solve an inequality today, just like we solved an equality before winter break. Okay? So, golden rule comes into play. Distribute. Remember all those steps? Okay? So, our steps were distribute, clear fractions, combine like terms, then add or subtract, then multiply or divide. All of those comes into play. The goal of solving is to get the variable by itself. What we do to one side, we do to the other side. All that stuff comes into play. Just like it was with an equality. Right? Okay? Experts at it. We've been doing that. We've been solving equations for like 2 months now. Okay? We're experts at it right now. Okay? Here's the kicker with inequalities. With an inequality, we have one extra rule. And that extra rule is, that when we're multiplying or dividing both sides by a negative number, we flip the inequality. Okay? Put like 4 stars by that on your paper, because that is huge. Okay? Put some stars by that. If you've got a highlighter, highlight that on your paper. Okay? Because that's big time stuff right there. What I mean by that is if we're dealing with a less than symbol, okay? And the moment that we multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, then it becomes a greater than symbol. The alligator flips around. Okay? It doesn't become a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. It just literally flips around. Okay? Let's put that into work. Okay? Here we go. We got to solve. Now, here's the kicker on these. It says solve, and it says graph it. So we got to have 2 answers for this problem. Because we got to have the solving part, and we got to have the graphing part. Okay? So, in my brain, I think of this as y plus 4 equals 19. If it were y plus 4 equals 19, how would we go about solving it? Tom, we're up to you. How would we go about solving this one if it was y plus 4 equals 19? You subtract 4 from both sides, right? Okay? Right? We're going to do that the same thing. So we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. Okay? Positive 4 minus 4 cancels itself out. Leaves me just with y. Okay? Did I multiply or divide by a negative number? No. So my sign, my inequality symbol doesn't change. Okay. And what's 19 minus 4? 15. Yeah. So we have y is greater than 15. That is the solve portion of it. Now we've got to graph it. Okay? So on our graph, we need to have 2 numbers. The first number that we need to have is 15. The number that's in our problem, or that we get at the end of our problem. Okay? The other number that we need to have on our number line is 0. Okay? And 0 can go whichever side that you need it to be on, as long as you get a true statement. Remember, the true statement is smaller numbers on the left, bigger numbers on the right. Okay? Okay? So, what kind of a dot am I going to put at 15? That's not a dot. Okay? Stephanie, what kind of a dot do we go at 15? Open or closed? Open. Okay? So I'm going to circle the number line there. Okay? Logan, which way is my arrow going to go if I want numbers bigger than 15? To the right? Yep, exactly. So my arrow goes to the right. Remember, if you don't go up with your arrow, You got to make sure that you definitely can see which way your arrow is going. Okay? Love it. Okay? You should put it here. Number 6. I almost said number 2, but it's not number 2, it's number 6. Number 6. In my brain, I'm thinking like 4y equals negative 22. Right? Okay? Right? How would you go about solving this?
We have to do the 4 times 1.
But we can't because we don't know what y is. So how am I going to get y by itself?
Oh, yeah, the first one.
No? Because it's being multiplied, right?
Oh,
So
yeah, divided by 22.
No, not by 22.
Negative 22.
No, not by negative 22. By 4, right?
Oh.
Because we want to get the y by itself. Yep. Okay. So we're going to divide both sides by 4. Now, once again, go back up here to my side note. Did I multiply or divide by a negative number? Danny, did I multiply or divide by a negative number? I divided, but did I divide by a negative number? No, I did not. Okay, right? I'm dividing by positive 4. Right? Okay? So this does not come into play in this one. Okay? So this would be, I would divide there, so then this gives me y. My sign does not change because I divided by a positive number. Okay, so my sign does not change. Negative 22 over 4. Is that a reducible fraction?
Yeah.
Yeah? What can they both be divided by? 2. So 22 divided by 2 is 11. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So then this would become negative 11 over 2. And that is the solve part of it. Now we need to graph that part of it. So what are the two numbers that we have to put on our number line? 0 and negative 11/2. Is the 0 going to be on the left, like this, of negative 11/2, or is it going to be on the other side? It's going to be on the other side. Yep, exactly. So we're going to have negative 11/2, and somewhere over here we're going to have 0. Okay. Chloe, 2 questions for you. Ready for them? Open or close dot. Close because it's got the extra equals part. Yep. Arrow going left or arrow going right. We want numbers smaller than negative 11/2. Give me another chance. So the smaller numbers are on the left side, right? So both of those then are part of the answer. Together. For Evans. Okay? Let me see if I can find one. Do we have one? There we go. Let's skip to number 9. I want to skip to number 9 and then I'll give you the other 3. I wanted to get a dividing by a negative. Okay? Okay? Jaden, in number 9, I'm thinking negative 6y equals 54, right? Okay? So what would I do to solve that for y? If it were negative 6y equals 54, what would I do?
It's okay not to know.
Don't know?
That's fine.
Well, what would you do? Multiply by negative 6? Divide by it, because it's already being multiplied, right? Okay. So because that's what we do if it's equals, we're going to do that if it's an inequality. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 6. Right? Okay? Elijah. Negative 6 divided by negative 6 is 1, right? It goes away. Right? Those cancel out. Right? So that leaves me just with y over here. But it's not on this slide. It was on, but it's on the front side. Did we multiply or divide by a negative number? We're dividing by a negative, right? So what happens to this inequality? Nope, not the inequality. It can't turn into a negative. It just flips around, right? Okay. So notice here that this then becomes that. It flips around. It flips around. Then 54 divided by negative 6. Really, we're up to 54 divided by negative 6. Do you have a multiplication chart? I see one. Actually, I see one right there. It's blue. I know. I'm the meanest making you do math in math class. Oh, meanest. 54 to 54. And see if 6 is a factor. What times 6 gets me 54? 9. So that means 54 divided by 6 is 9. Okay? But positive divided by negative is negative, right? So it's negative 9. Okay. Love it. Ashley. 9's got to go on my number line, right? Okay? Which side is 0 going to go on? Is it going to go on the left side of negative 9 or the right side of negative 9? The right side? Yep, good job. So I got to put negative 9 on there. I got to put 0 on there. Okay, love it. Kong Meng, open or closed dot? Open or closed? Closed, right? Yeah, because it's got an equals part. Closed dot. And then I'll open it up to anybody that wants to answer. Left or right with our arrow? Oh, I've heard of both. Okay, why do you say right? Okay, so let's put 0 into this one, right? Okay? So if I put 0 in there, is 0 smaller than negative 9?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not, right? Okay? So that means I can't go that way with it. So I'm going to go with Elijah's and say we got to go to the left. Remember, you can always take one number and check it. Okay? Right? What I'd like you to do now is I would like you to do 7, 8, and 10. 7, 8, and 10 now in your note sheet. So in number 10, then, we want to get the C by itself. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. That gives me just C on this side. Adding is not multiplying or dividing, so my sign or my inequality does not flip. Negative 18 plus 3 is negative 15. So I need those two. I need negative 15 and I need 0 on my number line. Okay. I want all numbers bigger than negative 15, but it's an open dot, and my arrow then goes to the right. Okay? So that is number 10. Thumbs up if you got number 10 right. It was the easiest of the 3. Okay? All right. Good job. Oh, there's my first answer. in number 7, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 to both sides. That gives me then 2x and 10, less than 10. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Got 2. I'm dividing by positive 2. That is a positive number, so it doesn't flip my inequality. It keeps it the same. And I get 5. So I need numbers smaller than 5. Open there. Going to the left. And in number 8, I'm going to add 2/3. I could have actually tap the brakes. Let's do this using the steps that we had before. I'm going to multiply every term. I'm going to clear my fractions by multiplying everything by 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Divided by 3 is 1. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. Divided by 3 is 2. Yeah. Then I'm going to add 2. That gives me 3 is less than 3x. Then I'm going to divide by 3. Dividing by a positive number doesn't change anything. So I've got 1 is less than x. There. Open circle. And my arrow is going to the left because I want 1 to be the bigger number. Okay? Alright? So, boxes. We've got 2 answers. Each and every.